Hey guys, Jeremy here, and this is a very special video for me because I got my hands on my very first WWE action figure, and I decided to start with the defining moment Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm a really big wrestling fan, but ironically, I never got into any of the Mattel WWE action figures. Not the elites, not the basics, not anything. But I seen this defining moment Steve Austin in the wild a few times, and since Steve Austin is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and this figure looks pretty good, I decided now is the time to finally start trying to look more into these wrestling figures, at least from the defining moments line. So if you're curious about this guy, he costs about $25 from Walmart, and one of the things that attracted me to this the most were the inclusion of these 3 championship belts that look really quite well. I know I'm new to the whole WWE Mattel figures thing, but man, these belts look really, really nice. We got the Smoking Skull belt, we have the Winged Eagle belt, and then we also have the Attitude Era WWE Championship belt as well. So that's pretty great coming with all those belts. Nice collector-friendly packaging here, and I can't wait to try my very first WWE action figure and see what it's all about. So without further ado, I'm going to open up this guy and take a good look at him. So it's been about a day since I got this figure, and let me tell you guys, what have I been missing out on? I mean, seriously, this figure is fantastic. My very first WWE action figure, and I love this thing. One of the things I love the most are these belts. So like I said in the beginning, Stone Cold comes with 3 belts in his defining moments variant, and I decided to put around his waist the classic Winged Eagle WWE title belt, and then across his shoulder there is the Attitude Era Championship belt, and then he's just holding the Smoking Skull belt in his right hand, in his left hand, and it just looks so good. I love the way that Mattel makes these belts. They're so shiny and they're metallic, and then when you look at it from this side, you can see that each of the little individual plates, now this is plastic, it's not metal. Oh, it would be awesome if it was metal, but you can see that they have like a little individual plates on there too. So they're not printed on the belt, and that is awesome. You know, I know it could probably be a lot easier, a lot cheaper to just, you know, print that on, but that would be such a cop-out and it wouldn't look as good. But they didn't do that, and these belts have a really, really healthy, glossy gold shine to them, and it's funny. It's just kind of like walk past something and it's super shiny, and I'm like, ooh, what's that? And I got a feeling it's going to become that way with these WWE figures. So I love Stone Cold right here in this pose, but just for the sake of doing the rest of this review, I'm going to take all of his championship belts away. Another thing I like about these championship belts, and if you guys are into WWE action figures, you've been knowing about this for a long time, but this whole thing is still new to me. I love how easy it is to take these belts and to just fasten them together, because they have these little indentations right here, and you just basically just loop them around, stick them in the respective slot there, and then they just hold. And I love that you can just easily put it over a superstar's arms, let him hold it over his shoulders like that, and that just looks really, really good. I love that. I love these belts. And then I'm going to leave this belt, the Winged Eagle belt, on Stone Cold, because it's not going to really get in the way of anything here. Now, one of the other things that I really do like about this figure, and I am assuming is this way for all of the elite figures, is the articulation on this guy is very smooth. It's not loose at all, and it's not so tight that I feel like I need to work out a joint before I can really articulate it under fear that I might snap something. I love how everything has it meets this very healthy middle ground between not being stiff and then at the same time not being very loose. And then the articulation on him overall is pretty good. Of course, there are some things that I wish that Mattel included, including like ankle pivot. They don't have that, but for everything that this figure does have, I'm surprised that they just don't go that extra mile to give them that one extra point of articulation. But if you are curious about the articulation of this figure, and probably elites in general, so you can see here, he's got his head, and of course the head can move up just a little bit. It's not very noticeable. Moving it down is also not very noticeable. And then of course you got left and you got right. Not really much of a tilt because it doesn't stay. but you can just get the little basic head articulation that way. Arm articulation is pretty good. You know, you can lift them up about that much. Stone Cold is about to break his legs. You can move him up about that much. He has a single jointed elbow. Of course, double jointed elbows is always better, but you know, single jointed elbow is cool. We've got that swivel at the upper arm there. And then as for the hand, it hinges. So we got a hinge that goes up and down on this hand, and the hand also rotates like that. So that's good for posability. And of course, the same thing is going to be for the other arm. Over at the knees here, we got a good knee here. We got a good double jointed knee, I believe, right here. We can also have on the upper thigh, and that swivels as well. And then down at the feet here, although we don't get any kind of ankle pivot, we do get some toe articulation. So if I can just kind of bring that like that, you see that's a pretty decent angle of foot articulation there. And of course, you can just move it back up if you want, and then it also swivels right there at the boot. So good articulation on this Stone Cold figure. It would have been a lot better with the ankle pivot, but I guess you're not going to always get that. And then you can also move his legs out about that far. And of course, if this is Stone Cold, if you wanted to set him up in some kind of action pose, you have to be able to get his foot to go out like that so he can set somebody up for the stunner, of course. Now on this figure in particular, some of the highlights of him, because it is Stone Cold, he has these leg braces on, which of course that he used those in the ring because he needed them. They were they're very nicely molded knee braces. Wouldn't try to take them off. It just adds more to the authenticity of the character. And then these knee braces also don't get in the way of articulation, so they're very pliable, they're rubbery, so you can still get the double jointed knee action going on here, and you don't have to worry about this rubber part getting in the way and stopping you from articulating it the way that you want. And then also on his left leg, his bottom left leg, you see he has that tattoo, the state of Texas, with the those Longhorns right there. So that is also really, really great. And then of course on the back, you got his classic vest with Stone Cold with the skull. On the front of his vest, Austin on the right, 316 on the left. I also like the way that this action figure feels. Seems kind of strange, but it doesn't feel like a standard regular plastic, although I'm sure it is. It's kind of soft. It feels soft to me. And because it feels soft, that doesn't mean that it feels cheap. It feels like it's sturdy, but at the same time pliable, bendable. It's just, there's something about it. It's kind of like how your skin is, right? Your skin is kind of soft. It's kind of, you know, you can stretch it a little bit, but for the most part, it's just kind of soft. It's not hard. It doesn't feel like the entire figure is one solid piece of plastic. Just like on your body, it doesn't feel like everything is just solid bone structure, at least not on most of us. But on these figures, just rubbing my fingers across it just, there's a strange, soft, pleasant feeling to it. And I really like that. I like how his vest doesn't look too blocky on him. Even though this isn't fabric, this is still type of a rubbery, plasticky kind of material, but it does look good on him. There's not like a whole bunch of gaps in between, like where the shoulders are or where it looks in the back. There's not a lot of gaps, so it doesn't seem like, oh, well, this looks like it's, you know, too blocky and too big and, you know, too much air in it or something like that. You don't have to worry about that at all. But I am so taken by this Stone Cold Defining Moments figure, and it's actually really got me interested in looking at some other WWE figures as well. I didn't think I would really get into this, even though I'm a big WWE fan, but just having this figure, and I'm like, if the rest are like this, what have I been missing out on? So I already put in an order for the Defining Moments Undertaker, so get ready for that. That's going to be coming up very soon. And I'm going to have to hit up the stores to check out some more of these WWE figures just to see what they have. And like I said, I really, really dig these belts. I'm trying to get them to hold this belt here, kind of get them back in the pose I had them in before. I'm really feeling these belts, and they look so good. And the crazy thing is, in one of my last hunt videos, I was looking at random stuff and I came across one of those basic figures, and it had like the chase belt with it. But of course, even though it was like a week ago, I had no idea. I didn't care about it. And now, of course, it's not there anymore. So I'm going to look into getting some more of these WWE figures because these belts are just great and this figure feels great. And if the rest are like this, then hey, man, I'm sold. This is pretty awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. I think this has been a very great introduction to the world of WWE action figures for me. And I think I'm going to continue this. Not going to be one of those people who try to collect everything, but definitely the superstars that I like, and try to get as many of these belts as I can. I really enjoy this. So if you want to see more stuff like this, if you're into WWE stuff, I am going to be doing more of those videos. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.